On the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. Sadly, Spaz, one of our other co-hosts, is having internet issues, so he might join us at some point, but we don't know. Also joining us is your co-host, Julie.
Welcome and hello from Illinois, where, thank God, we have a fiercely Democratic governor.
And you do exist, Julie. If I have anything to say about it, you do exist.
Sorry, don't exist.
Jesus. Also joining us is your co-host, Thorsten.
Hello, and I'm living in a place that already experienced all that stuff before. I know how it ends.
I know it's been 80, 90, it's been like 80 years, but you know. Also joining us is your co-host, Jacob.
May you live in interesting times.
No, I don't like it. I want to send it back. I don't know. No, I quit. I'm done. No. Send the interesting times back. How do I talk to Amazon about sending these interesting times back? I want to do a return.
You want a refund? You want a refund on the interesting times?
I want a refund on the interesting times. And finally, your co-host, David.
I know that the weather forecast says it's rainy, cloudy cover, or something like that, but there's definitely a storm coming from the west.
Yeah, with a side of fascism. Okay, friends. Two things before we get started. One, there's construction happening about 100 feet from me. I've done all I can to mitigate it, but if you hear kind of in the background, they're demolishing a bridge in my apartment complex about 100 feet away from me. So I've done all I can audio-wise to mitigate it, but you might hear it in the background. I apologize for that. And two, we usually try not to be political here on the Space Game Junkie Podcast. We're going to be today.
Why?
Yeah, we're going to be today.
Allow me to clarify the statement. We usually try not to be political.
And, sometimes it leaks out. Sometimes it leaks out, but we try not to be political. Today, we are purposely going to be political. So, if you're not interested in hearing our politics, and that's fine, just turn off the show now. You don't have to listen to this episode. That's fine. I get it. Politics is a tricky thing. If you keep listening, you don't like what we have to say, whatever. So it is, we usually don't date these, but it is January 22nd, 2025. 2 days ago, Donald Trump got sworn in for his second term as the president of the United States, and oh boy, did the shit start almost immediately. He signed a flurry of executive orders, basically trying to get rid of birthright citizenship, which, if you don't know what that is, it's an American thing, which says even if your parents are not Americans, if you're born in America, you're an American. Basically. And he's trying to get rid of that. And another big one is he's trying to make certain LGBTQ people just not exist anymore. I don't know if a lot of people on Facebook are saying that his executive orders is saying we're all female now. Basically, the text.
No, with a side of yes, with a side of it's so dreadfully phrased and completely based on nothing. Yeah. It's because it's based purely on vibes and not on any actual science. Nope. It is
nope. It's
actually technically none of us have a gender because our gender is determined at moment of conception, according to the executive order. And at the moment of conception, you are two cells.
If I may.
Of course you may.
From the person who has a target squarely on her back.
Yeah, this is the one. You're the one who this affects most. Please go ahead.
Here's the deal. And yes, there is pages and pages of this shit out on the whitehouse.gov site. The upshot of the whole thing is...
There is one?
Yes, there is. This goes back to when he was in office last. He tried to get the Supreme Court, through the Department of Justice, to rule that people in the transgender community and gay people were not part uncovered by the Equal Employment Opportunity. His own judge he appointed ruled against him and drafted the law. Now, what the new executive order says, he says there are only two genders in this country. So if you have Klinefelters, you also don't exist. If you are intergendered, you also don't exist. But the deal is, to make it worse, what he wants to happen is those of us who have fought their whole life just to be whole and one gender and one legal identity, he says that according to Donald Trump, your gender that you were born with can't be changed. Now, I have 2 birth certificates, so he can pick and choose which one is right. But the fact of the matter, what all this does is he is attempting to erase the legal identity of everybody in the United States who is transgender. And once this filters down, that will be subject to comment and the rule of law. But if this filters down to schools, as Equality Illinois believes, it will eventually, there will be mass suicides.
Yeah.
So all I can say is, if you voted in the racist in chief and his best friend, the richest Nazi in the world, you made your bed. Now fucking sleep in it.
Yeah, because I think one thing I love about Trump voters is they have no idea what he's actually doing. And when they find out that his shit is going to affect them, they're like, wait a minute. I just wanted to hurt the brown and gay people. I didn't think he'd hurt other white people. You know, it's so stupid. It's so...
Sadder still is, I have talked with a bunch of immigrants who just don't seem to care. They said, oh, do you just want everybody to be welcome? And I said, the phrase at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty that says, yearning to be freed, doesn't have a qualifier after it. No, when my parents came here, depending on which part of the family you're talking to, either during the American Revolution or from Ellis Island, nobody said they couldn't come here. Nobody told his wife she couldn't come here. Everybody should be welcome. And if you hate immigrants, I've got a few choice words, and I'll say them in multiple languages, but I'll try and restrain myself.
I just love the fear of immigrants is such a big driver of things like this and Brexit.
It's legitimately all fucking
it's stupid. Immigrants have been shown to not only value their new communities, but contribute to their new communities more than, a lot of times, more than the people who were born there.
Well, and they do commit more crimes because they're under threat of immediate deportation the moment a policeman looks at them funny. I
had somebody come over to a dinner party once, and halfway through the dinner party, he starts going on about how horrible, forgive me for using the slanderous term, Mexicans are, like it was a swear word. Okay. And I listened to this shit for a while, and I said, you know what? If you hate people who were immigrants and the children were immigrants so much, Elder Blackwolf, who was my longtime teacher, said, pack up your shit and go back to Hungary where your grandfather was from.
Exactly. Like, we're all, in a way, immigrants, especially to this country. So it's particularly gruesome over here right now. And us in California, with all our wildfires, there's more. A new wildfire just started today. We have more fires. The other big fires haven't been put out. They're getting closer to being put out. But still, tens of thousands of homes are gone. Hundreds of thousands of people are displaced. It's a nightmare over here, and we don't know what Trump is going to do. Is he going to try and withhold FEMA funding for the state? Is he going to, we don't know what he's going to do yet. He hasn't put us in our sights yet, but it's bad here. And the air still smells like smoke, like someone's making a campfire. I wear a mask whenever I leave the house. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And I know a lot of people who are afraid in this country right now. A lot of people who are terrified. And I think the people who voted him in who aren't terrified, they should be terrified. Because he doesn't care about them either. So it's going to be bad. I think our only saving grace, the only thing that might help us is, one, the people he's bringing in are even more incompetent than the people he brought in the first time. And two, there's already infighting within his circles. So incompetence and ego might stem the worst of their impulses like it did the first time. But I don't know. But it's scary to be over here right now. So like how I'm doing is I'm anxious, I'm scared, I'm worried about my friends, and I'm going to be honest, in a way I envy people who don't have empathy. In a way right now I envy people who don't give a shit about other people because they're having a great time. I see them on Facebook saying, "Oh, God wanted California to burn." And stuff like that. They're having people without empathy are having a great time. They're loving all this. So part of me wishes I could switch it off. You know what I mean? But it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's tough to find motivation to even do stuff like this. Like I was always tempted to be like, I'm not feeling it today. But at the same time, we got to keep doing stuff like this because this is it's these little things that give us joy. It's these little things that connect us to each other. And that's why I haven't outright left Twitter. That's why I won't leave Facebook, because there are communities of actually good people there, despite the people who are in charge of those platforms. So it's a really weird time. Hate it.
If I may.
Of course you may.
And I will admit, just like other people may or may not admit, I have PTSD really, really bad. And I had to be put on some serious meds when a friend died during the height of the part of the pandemic when there was no treatment. And the same person who treats me passed along some sage advice as soon as this executive order came out. And she just said to me, she said, stay healthy mentally and physically. Sometimes surviving is winning.
Yeah, that's all we can really do at this point, I think, is focus on what we have direct control of. Taking care of the people closest to us, making sure they're safe and happy, donating to the right charities if we can, helping out wherever we can, that sort of thing. It's a scary time. And that's my piece about how I'm doing. Julie, did you have anything you wanted to add about how you're doing?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And here's the deal is, I know at this point there might be a lot of people in the LGBT community that are going to consider committing suicide, but don't.
Please don't. Please don't.
Even if you think there aren't people out there who care about you, there are. And
there are. Yes.
You might not know. And just a short part of a story. When I felt the lowest part of my life and I thought about this, I reached down into my wallet for a little scrap of paper about 1.5 inches big with a phone number on it that had been there for years and said, if this time ever comes, call me. And I called that person. And because I called that person and didn't do myself in, the woman who is my sister is sitting in the next room, and she is the reason I keep going and the reason I'm still here and the reason I'm in a house because her father paid for it. And if you are thinking about the worst, even if you don't direct message me, please call someone.
Yeah, there are people out there who care about you, about your marginalized group. You know, there are people that care. And your survival is just in the face of their fascism, just your survival spits in the face of everything they're trying to achieve. So survive for not only yourself, but for your community. Because we all need each other. The more of us there are, the better chance we have of surviving. And that's one of the reasons that's one of the reasons they're fucking with Twitter and they're fucking with Facebook. They're trying to get rid of our communities that help tie us together. They don't want us to be tied together because we're less of a threat that way. Anyway, do you have anything else, Julie? I'm sorry, I kind of bogarted that. I apologize.
That's okay. On a lighter note, in preparation for what this podcast was going to be about, is about politics. And at first I was a little, not politics like we're talking about now, but politics and video games.
Yeah.
And so I actually went out there and I played a couple of games I have that I've never played before. And one was BioShock Infinite. And that one was, wow, the first hour or so was really kind of, wow, this is like old-timey religion, paint a target on your back. And when I started to look into the plot and really get into it, I said, oh my God, this is like War and Peace. I had a bet with a coworker once. I used to keep a notebook, and he said, I'll bet you can't finish War and Peace. Jerry Brochard, wherever you are, you won. I kept a notebook. I couldn't finish War and Peace. The plot line at the end of this thing is like that. I also, in preparation for this, tried to play Frostpunk. And if there was ever a game where the deck is stacked against you, I had it set on normal. And even though I had 4 infirmaries, they keep shouting, we want more infirmaries. And I said, this management is what I do for a living. And I couldn't make it past day 1 and they put me out in the cold. So it is, I guess I'm not as good at the politics side of all this as I thought it was.
Well, from what I understand, Frostpunk is a game that hates the player. From what I understand, it is notorious for hating its own players. So I'm not surprised at your story about Frostpunk. I've never played it, but it looks like a very mean game. Are we talking about what we're playing too? Because I didn't talk about what I was playing. Are we just talking about how we're doing
Go
right
for
now?
it.
Okay.
I think you should talk about what you're playing.
Well,
put a little light air into it.
Yeah, all right. Let's I bought myself as a birthday present an Android gaming tablet, a Lenovo Android gaming tablet. It's an 8-ish inch tablet. It's a wonderful size. Got a snappy processor, and I found a lot of great games on it. I mean, I never really paid much attention to the Android gaming scene because I don't like playing games on my phone. It's too small. But this tablet is like the perfect size, and so I've been playing like Strike Fighters on it and everything. But the game I've been playing a lot of, and I wish I could have recorded it. It's called Undecember. It like takes bits of Diablo and Torchlight, and makes a very violent and dumb, fun, don't have to use your brain too much ARPG that I've just sunk dozens of hours into. It's great. I got yesterday the game that's on stream, Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, which is more of a twin stick shooter type of thing, but you go on runs and then you improve your town, which improves your character, and then you go on another run. And so far it's got the loop down great. So I've been playing that too. But yeah, since I got the tablet, I've barely gamed on my PC. I'm going to be honest. I've mostly been gaming on the tablet. It's also great for emulation. I've gotten PS1, PS2, Dreamcast, GameCube, DS, 3DS, Vita, and PSP games working on it. And it's amazing. It's funny. So the reason I just wanted to say before we moved on, the reason I wasn't able to record I was going to record Undecember for the footage, and there is a Steam version, but it crashed every time I got into the actual game. Like the Android version is more stable than the Steam version for me, which is funny. That's why I recorded Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, which is great. But I like on December a little more. But yeah, the Android gaming scene is impressive. Like there's some really impressive ports on there too. Like Wreckfest is on there, and it plays great. Like you wouldn't know this is a mobile game. It runs great. So yeah, just there's been a lot of good gaming lately, especially on that amazing little tablet. It's a beautiful little tablet. It costs about $400. It runs everything I've thrown at it. The only problem I've run into is Windows emulation. There are some actual Windows emulators for Android. And so far I've only gotten one game working on the Windows emulator. Age of Wonders Shadow Magic. That's the only game I've gotten running. That's been the biggest hurdle. But other than that, it's great. It's a wonderful little tablet. Just goes everywhere. So yeah, there's a little bit of positivity. Is good mobile gaming. Thorsten, how are you doing and what are you playing?
Well, how am I doing?
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I'm good in a lot of ways.
Good.
I'm simply a bit annoyed by this richest Nazi out there because he does seriously dangling around with the politics of other nations isn't such a great thing, and doing that with a nation that has experience with this kind of politics, let's put it in a harmless way, isn't so great. It's really incredible, stupid. It's really stupid. I can't believe that is happening. Anyways, we will talk about politics in the future much more, I guess. Okay, what am I playing? I'm playing still Wild Bastards a lot. I'm playing the.
What are you playing?
Oh yeah, the Wild Bastards.
Oh, still.
Yeah. The game I'm playing since September. It's my comfy game. It's basically the same as you are doing with Warhammer Inquisitor, and
oh yeah, just a
yeah.
I
don't have to think much in the game.
I love games like that. Like it's great when you find a game like that doesn't ask much of you mentally, but delivers so much. You know, that's awesome.
And what am I playing more is Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. That's a pretty fun take on the whole Mudrunner, SnowRunner genre, and not bad. It's pretty funny. It's let's put it that way. It's the first Mudrunner type game that really can get a hold of me. And otherwise, mostly old plays, mostly old games like Deep Sky Derelicts and wait a moment, I've got a problem here.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm back. And mostly a scavenger as before too.
Oh God!
And
no!
Yeah, I know you don't like it. No. Also playing the games you played yesterday, Star Lair. That's a nice take on the Metroid.
Yeah, I like that one.
Metroid genre. Yeah, it isn't bad. It has some good concepts. It looks a bit clunky at first, but it has some pretty funny things going on. Well, that was basically the most things I'm doing right now. And I'm glad that the winter isn't so harsh as expected.
Yet.
Yet.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're playing a lot, and I'm glad things are going well. Sounds like you're on the upswing, which is always good.
Yeah, compared to last year, it's definitely an upswing.
Glad someone's doing. I'm glad someone's happy.
Really, for sure.
Jesus Christ, I'm glad someone's in a good mood. Remedy. Jacob, you there? Oh, Jacob's muted. Maybe we'll skip him and come back to him. David, how are you doing and what are you playing?
For me personally, what can I say? I guess my mental state is swaying a little bit. So I'm hoping something comes to use of this course I'm taking right now. Coding with Python, which has been very interesting. Just very simple things so far. There's a part 2 of this one, and I think I should see if I can apply for it, because it may have been the last day to send an application on this Sunday, the day before something happened in the States. So yeah, yeah, there's that too. But yeah, my mental state has been a little bit swaying, let's just say. I have tried to keep drawing, of course, when I can, and doing my own studies here at home with some more coding and stuff. But I have been playing a few more games from the backlog, and some of the new games I bought this winter sale. So yeah, it's interesting to try new games. I don't know, how many am I allowed to talk about?
I mean, go ahead. If it's like 10 or something, then like I'd say cut it down to like 2 I'd say cut it down to 2 or 3, All
right, I can go with 2 to 3. So one of the games I have played this year, which didn't come out this winter sale actually, is a how can I describe it? It's an interesting first-person shooter which has a lot of cool gunplay mechanics, and that is called Beyond Citadel. Now, when you take a look at that game, it may look like something else, but trust me, it's a game in there. And it's apparently not apparently, it is a sequel to the developer's previous game, which came out in 2020. So this one took about 4 years to develop. And his English has improved, so the story is a little bit more easy to understand, which is good. But something that's really cool with this game is that firearms have a little bit more depth to them. As an example, you can't just press reload and you reload. What you do is eject the magazine, insert a new one, and then cock it. So you have 3 separate steps you need to go through. And as all guns are deteriorating in state, they may actually jam. So then you have to unjam it, which can be quite chaotic.
That sounds... I'm going to be honest, that kind of mechanic really frustrates me.
And you can entirely disable that as well.
Good. You want to disable that. Thank God. I hate that kind of crap. I honestly hate that kind of...
Yeah, and options are really nice. So you can also change difficulties for separate things. So when you start off the game, you have either easy, medium, or hard, but you can still I want to have tough gunplay, but I want to have easy enemies or something like that. So you can adjust for that, or I want to have a hard economy but tougher enemies, and tougher enemies, but more weapons or whatever. So yeah, you have a lot of options there when it comes to difficulty. There's actually a lot of hidden mechanics outside the main lobby in the game as well. Like you have it kind of reminds of the level select in between mission thing from Quake 1 actually. So you have go into the next mission or take a bonus level if you want to get some more cash or upgrade your weapons with some more money. So yeah, it's really cool. And the second game, if we're gonna stick with 2, is something that Brian is playing on Thursdays, which needs no introduction.
Yeah.
And that is good old Euro Truck Simulator 2.
I
found it again.
I have to admit, I am so tickled that you have picked this back up. It's because I kind of felt the same way when I picked it back up. It's like, I haven't played this in a while. I want to play it. How's it going? I haven't touched this in a while. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And here's the funny thing here. It's the game has something called World of Trucks, where you have like online achievements you can unlock for fancies and stuff. The last achievements I got was in 2017. The year after was when I took my truck driver's license. So yeah, I drove real trucks after that time. So yeah, I became a real truck driver in 2018.
I'm gonna be honest. That reminds me. I think didn't Euro Truck Sim come out in 2012? I think.
Yes.
That's the same year.
It is 13 years old.
That's the same year that Star Citizen had its Kickstarter. So Euro Truck Sim 2 is basically as old as Star Citizen. But it's like one has come quite a long way and is much beloved, and the other anyway, I just realized that they're basically the same age, and yet their stories couldn't be more different.
Oh yeah, but and there's so much things going on for the game, because during their Christmas live stream, they actually showed off a lot of new mechanics that are going to be added to the games. Like we will have rigid trucks, like the normal box trucks, not a trailer truck, basically. So you'll just have a truck that has an entire box attached to it right away, and then it can have a trailer after that, which will be added sometime maybe this year or maybe next year. We're not entirely sure.
Huh.
But man, it's an incredible thing. Oh, and about the buzzword, and you mentioned Star Citizen there. Yeah, I'm gonna burst the bubble right now. So they have introduced multiplayer to the game since the last time I played it in 2017. That's pretty cool. So I've been playing with my cousin and his friends, and one of his friends comes to say to me, "Man, David, wouldn't it be cool if we could climb out of our truck and like strap down the load and secure it ourselves or something like that? Like you have so much more fiddling around to do. You are describing Star Citizen right now. I have played it. I do not want to go back. I do not want to climb out of the driver's cabin. I just want to drive the damn truck. That's what I want to focus on. No bullshit, just drive."
Oh man.
So, but yeah, this game, well, and Mudrunner and also at the same time SnowRunner was the games that inspired me to take the real truck driver license. And while I'm no longer driving trucks, it is cool to see something that has inspired me as much as it did. So yeah, if you still for some reason haven't played Euro Truck Simulator, do it.
Oh yeah,
do it.
You guys, even if driving games aren't typically your thing, there is such a... It's hard to describe what's so enrapturing and like, it's just something beautiful about this game that I think could appeal to just about anybody.
Why do I have it already?
Because I think
probably a sale
or a sale or a bundle or something. But
I have never launched it. According to Steam, but apparently I have it.
It has a full interactive truck driving training thing now. So
that's good, and it has Jesus Christ on a motorcycle in DLC.
Well, you don't need all the DLC. A lot of it's cosmetic, but there are a lot of maps. There are a lot of... The most recent one they added was Greece, I think, was the most recent one they added.
Looks like it.
But they have a lot of maps, which just makes the game even better because the maps are all wonderful.
And new trucks.
And new trucks, but you can skip most of the DLC. The ones you need are the ones that add little bits of content, and those are the maps.
And there is like an essentials pack that includes the stuff that is actually useful.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Kinda, sorta. But yeah, the maps are the most essential, and then I think there are a couple of smaller DLCs which add some different mission types. I think like one or two of those. But for the most part, what you want to get are the maps. That's the thing, because then you get quite a bit of Europe, quite a bit. Not all of Europe, but a lot of it.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we will have an expansion for Northern Scandinavia. So we'll have from, now I'm going to say a Swedish name here for all things, Uppsala and northward. So we will be able to go to Luleå and Umeå and stuff. So we'll be able to go to Lapland.
Is
that the very northern parts of Sweden?
Is that your neck of the woods?
No, our summer place is up in.
Isn't that where Santa Claus lives?
Lapland in Finland, I believe. They actually have Lapland themselves. I learned that like last week. So yeah, there's that. I can't believe it. We have a Lapland and they have a Lapland. How's that possible?
Just to make things confusing for tourists.
The Finns are just trying to be better than us at everything.
But friends, yeah, if you haven't played Euro Truck Sim, it is really relaxing. You're like, why would I want to drive a truck? Trust me, it is more relaxing than you might think. It's relaxing to drive, and watching the numbers go up when you make money and you level up and everything. That's the carrot on the stick. It's just such an impressive thing.
And put on a podcast, play your favorite music in the background and stuff like that, and just vibe with it.
Does it still have internet radio? It probably does, right? I turned it off for this.
It does, but I haven't ever used it. So
yeah, I used it when I started playing it, but then I turned it off because I was streaming it. I don't want copyright nonsense, but I think there's in-game internet radio, and I think what I played most was a disco station from France, which was really good actually.
I just want to say one thing before I hand over the torch. Torch to Jacob here.
Yeah,
with your talk, because I realized something very interesting yesterday.
Yeah.
So if you want to maximize your earnings or whatever, you look up guides. How do I earn money in Euro Truck Simulator? Fair. You buy a garage, and then you buy a bunch of Iveco Stralis trucks, and then just because they were the cheapest ones. Guess what? You can't buy those trucks anymore.
Oh,
so all those guides are invalid. So why have those trucks been removed? And this is the thing that I love with SCS. They love trucks, and it shows. Iveco Stralis is a truck that only has a Euro 5 engine. If you don't know what that is, it is a cleanliness factor for how much pollution the truck is allowed to put out into the environment. Because there's laws saying that you will have to have a Euro 6 nowadays inside cities. So every truck that had a Euro 5 engine, you can only find as a used truck nowadays in Euro Truck Simulator 2. You can no longer buy them new. It's such a small detail that maybe you not will realize. But me who have driven trucks, I'm like, I know why this truck is gone. I know it. Because it's illegal, so yeah.
That's wow. All right, Jacob, what are you playing and how are you doing?
Video games and oh Jesus Christ! Right, one thing at a time. The new Nebulous update has been going splendidly. Carriers are fun.
Oh, good.
Yes, and the AI knows what a video game is now, which is also a plus.
Wait, what does that mean?
So, the big thing about the recent update to Nebulous Fleet Command is the AI before the last update was rudimentary.
Oh.
To say the least, in that it kind of just pointed its ships at the capture point, and sort of just ran there. And hoped that was a win, and usually it wasn't. But in the recent update, the AI is actually competent, has difficulty settings, and the game is playable solo in the same way Quake is. I'll put it that way. Quake Arena.
I mean, Quake Arena is pretty playable solo. The bots are pretty good.
Well, then that's what I mean.
Okay. You know, they're not like, I still think the Unreal games have the best bots. But the quick bots are
besides that, Path of Exile 2 has been quite fun.
Oh, good.
Despite a lot of people complaining about it for some reason. I think it's good. Though I will also recommend my prior recommendation of wait a bit.
Yeah, but I'm taking that to heart. I'm definitely waiting on it.
And I am continuing to binge Sea Power because it's Sea Power and it is purpose built for me and me alone.
Yeah,
I've mostly been playing stuff I played before because I'm not feeling adventurous, and also it's exams next week, so I'm not feeling adventurous.
Oh, good luck on those. But I mean, yeah, Sea Power seems like a game made for you.
Yes, me specifically.
I really enjoyed it, though. I was impressed that even an idiot like me could play it. Like they gave you all the fiddly bits if you wanted it, but they could also be like right click shoot for someone like me, and it works pretty well.
The ships can in fact operate at a level of point at thing, shoot thing when you approach. It's often not enough in the more difficult missions and at high difficulties, but that's the point of having difficulties.
Yeah.
Like, do not ram yourself into a 5-star mission because you will suffer immense pain.
Well, I'm also impressed people have been making so many missions for it. Like the
Oh yeah, the mission editor is very fun. A lot of people are making stuff with it. There are actually people making custom, like modded ships, though fully importing new models isn't there yet. But the modders are doing the absolute best with what they have, and what they have is actually quite a lot of ships.
That's awesome. I mean, that's one of the reasons you play those games is the toys. You know.
Yes.
Put those big toys in your giant bathtub. And go pew, pew,
and the toys are being added as we speak. The game did not launch with USS Enterprise, for example, but now we have her, and she's a beauty.
Aw, that's great.
Yes, she has the humongous, silly box radar that was removed later, but I need to show it because I love how it looks.
Well, it's from
because it is
Sorry.
Because it is quite literally just, it's a box. They took a normal aircraft carrier and then they just stuffed in a box on top of the island.
Oh, you mean that big wiry box thing?
Yeah. Oh, it's just a cube. It's like contains a bunch of radar stuff. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it is from memory serves like a fancy radar system that at the time was top of the line, but was removed later because it was getting in the way and it was kind of and it was made obsolete eventually. But yes, it's a box.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, not much else to report. I am surviving.
Good. What we said earlier, sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's all you can do. So I guess this is going to be a short episode because one, we're missing Spaz, and two, I don't want to keep getting negative. I could totally.
We don't have negative. Much. We don't have much to. Look. The month is called "Fuck You." It's January. It's called that for a reason.
I can't believe so much has happened, and yet it's only the 22nd. Like it's not. We're not even done with January yet, and
we're not done in January. Jeez.
Like a giant chunk of my city is burned down. We're sliding into fascism. I mean, it's great. 2025 is off to a great start. Just absolutely fantastic.
Look, I'm just saying, I have a feeling 2026 might be my year.
Oh, I hope so. I hope it's someone's year because I don't think 2025 is just going to be, except for very rich people, I don't think 2025 is going to be just maybe anybody's year. except for the very wealthy.
To quote the immortal Charles Schultz, I think I've been stuck with a used year.
Oh, man. Anyway, friends, that's going to wrap it up for us. It's a little shorter episode than usual, but we're tired, and it's tough to really go much longer. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. We haven't come up with a topic yet, but we'll talk about something. We'll have fun. We'll bring back the fun next week. Today was a little dour. I apologize, but we need to vent. We need to get it out, and you did in the chat as well. Thank you, chat. So I wrap up every show by saying be good to each other, but I do mean that. Be good to each other. We have to be good to each other. That's how we're going to survive times like this. Is if we actually treat each other with kindness and respect and take care of the people you care about. I know that sounds stupid and redundant, but seriously, we have to really take care of our own right now, especially right now. So take care of yourselves. Get vaccinated while you still can, before the far right takes that away.
Thanks, Ronald.
Yeah, I mean,
Robert, not Ronald.
Another thing that Trump did was in a year they're just going to cut funding to the WHO, which is huge, which has huge worldwide implications, not just American implications, or worldwide implications. So take care of yourself while you can. Get vaccinated while you can. Get all your shots, not just vaccines. Get everything. I just got a shingles vaccine, for example, because apparently when you're over 50, they want you to get a shingles vaccine. So that was 2 shots. That was fun. So just get all your shots, flu shot, vaccines, get them all. Wear a mask, because if it's not COVID, it's going to be bird flu or polio or something. So wear your mask. I'm not kidding. It's going to be something. H1N1 is probably coming for us, and our governments are doing absolutely nothing about it. That's great. So please wear your mask. Take care of yourselves. Thank you, as always, to our patrons who help pay for things like Restream, which is expensive. It costs several $100s a year. So thank you for that. And don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you back here next week with something, and tomorrow with more Euro